Let me tell you something real. You can't fix your life until you fix your mind. You can change your job, your city, your friends, but if your thinking stays the same, your pain will follow you. You'll keep living the same struggles in different places, wearing different faces, because nothing changes on the outside until you change what's happening on the inside. Your mind is the battlefield, and if you lose there, you'll lose everywhere else. So stop blaming the world. It's time to rebuild the one thing that controls it all, your mindset. Fix the root, not the symptoms. You keep trying to fix your life on the outside, but the chaos keeps coming back. You change jobs, you move cities, you cut people off, you buy things to feel better, but nothing really changes, does it? You feel the same. The weight's still there. The pain just puts on a new jacket and walks right back into your life, and that's because you're treating the symptoms, but you still haven't touched the root. You can't fix your life by rearranging the mess on the surface. You have to go deeper. You have to go where it hurts, where the lies were planted, where the fear was born. That's where the healing begins. That's where real change starts. If you don't face the root, your mindset, your beliefs, your internal dialogue, then nothing you do on the outside will last. You'll keep repeating the same patterns, just in new places with new faces. Let me tell you something straight. Your life is a mirror. If it's broken out there, it's broken in here. You can't keep blaming people, blaming circumstances, blaming luck. Look in the mirror. That's the battlefield. That's where the enemy lives. And that's where the warrior has to rise. You can't fix your future while holding on to the same broken mindset that wrecked your past. See, most people want relief, not responsibility. They want results, but not reflection. But I'll tell you this, your breakthrough will never come through avoidance. It will come when you face yourself, when you sit with your silence, when you ask, why do I always run when things get hard? Why do I keep choosing pain disguised as comfort? Why do I keep abandoning myself just to be accepted? That's the root. That's the real work. And when you fix that, when you heal from the inside, the outside starts to shift without you even forcing it. The peace comes, the purpose shows up. The life you were chasing starts chasing you. Because your external reality can't help but obey your internal alignment. Fix the root, and the fruit will follow. Your mind is the battlefield. Every single day, you wake up on a battlefield, and the fight isn't out there. It's not your boss. It's not your past. It's not the economy. The real fight is between your ears. Your mind is where battles are won or lost before you take your first step. And if you don't train it, strengthen it, discipline it, then life and every distraction in it will train it for you. Your mind will either be your prison or your passport. It'll keep you stuck in the same story, same pain, same fear, or it will set you free to walk into the life you were born to build. But you can't fight that battle casually. You have to go to war every day, because the mind doesn't just hand over peace, you have to earn it with intention. You see, the enemy doesn't show up looking like an enemy. It whispers, it pretends, it disguises itself as logic. It says, you're not ready, you're not good enough. You failed before, you'll fail again. And if you don't know how to fight back, not with fists, but with focus, it will own you. The battlefield of the mind is silent, but deadly, because no one sees it. No one hears the war you're fighting inside, but it shows up in your habits, in your hesitation, in how you talk to yourself when nobody's watching. And if you don't take command of it, that silence becomes a storm. Your thoughts are weapons. They can build or break, heal or hurt, uplift or undermine. Every thought is a seed, and your mind is fertile soil. So let me ask you, what are you planting? Are you feeding your fears or your future? Because what you water will grow, and what you ignore will rot. There are two voices inside you. One says you can't, the other says try. One says it's over, the other says keep going. And the one that wins is the one you listen to the most. You don't need a crowd to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself when you're alone. Too many people lose the battle because they never knew they were in one. They live on autopilot, reacting to life, letting every fear, every failure, every opinion shape their reality. But warriors know, clarity is a choice, peace is a decision, and mindset is a weapon. The moment you take full command of your mind, you take full command of your life, because it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it. Pain can either destroy you or develop you, but that decision is made in your head long before it's made in your hands. Don't wait for peace to arrive. Build it. Don't wait for clarity to show up. Demand it. Discipline your thoughts like a soldier, because this life is noisy, and your emotions will lie to you if you don't anchor them in something deeper, something true. Every excuse you've ever made was born in your mind. Every dream you abandoned, it died there first. And every breakthrough, it started with a single shift, when you decided to fight back, when you stopped believing the lie that you're stuck. That was the moment you picked up your sword. Some of you are losing the fight because you keep feeding your doubt more than your faith. You watch content that poisons you, you talk to people who drain you, you repeat stories in your head that were never true to begin with. You're not just in a battle, you're arming the enemy. You want to know why the strong rise? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's mental discipline. They control their narrative. They choose their focus. They tell their mind where to go, instead of letting life drag them around. That's mastery, not over others, but over self. The battlefield is where you decide whether today is another copy of yesterday or the beginning of something new. And that choice isn't made when things are easy. It's made when everything inside you says, give up, and you respond, not today. The greatest war is internal, and that's good news, because it means you don't have to wait for outside things to change. You can change here, now. You can shift the war by shifting your weapons, trading doubt for discipline, fear for focus, comfort for courage. Your success is not blocked by the world. It's blocked by your thoughts. You keep saying, I'm trying, but trying doesn't win wars. Decision does. Consistency does. And that starts with winning the battle in your morning, in your silence, in your solitude. If you knew how powerful your thoughts were, you'd never think another weak one again. Because thoughts don't just sit in your head, they shape your actions, your beliefs, your future. That's why mental laziness is spiritual sabotage. You want to change your life? Then train your mind. Speak life. Starve distractions. Guard your thoughts like treasure, because they are. And every single one is either building the foundation of your future or cracking it beneath your feet. The enemy wants you tired, distracted, doubting, scrolling your life away instead of building it. But you were not made to be a prisoner in your own mind. You were made to be a commander, clear, calm, and courageous. That's what this battle is calling out of you. Stop waiting for the war to be over. Win it right now with your next thought, your next habit, your next word. That's how you shift. That's how you fight. Not with noise, but with non-negotiables, with focus, with truth, with fire. This battlefield doesn't require perfection. It demands awareness. And once you become aware that your thoughts are the front line, everything changes. Because once you win there, you win everywhere. You don't just change your mind, you change your entire world. Rewire or stay stuck. You can't change your life with the same mind that broke it. You can't move forward if your thoughts are tied to the past. Rewiring isn't a motivational buzzword. It's survival. You either reprogram your mindset or relive the same day, the same pain, the same fear on a loop. Growth doesn't come by accident. It comes by intentional mental renovation. Tear down the lies, the limits, the lazy beliefs that keep you small, and build again. Most people don't change because comfort is more familiar than freedom. You know how to survive chaos, but you don't know how to live in peace. That's why you stay stuck. You're not trapped by your circumstances. You're trapped by the way you think about them. Until you challenge your thoughts, you'll always be a prisoner in your own story. The key isn't outside, it's in your wiring. Every belief you have was programmed, some by parents, some by pain, some by society, and some you didn't even choose. They just settled in while you weren't watching. I'm not good enough. I always fail. I'm too late. These aren't facts, they're viruses. And if you don't scan your system and uninstall them, they'll corrupt every decision you make. The mind is like a machine, powerful but dangerous when left unguarded. If you don't feed it truth, it will feed you fear. If you don't give it vision, it will default to worry. And if you don't direct it daily, it will run wild in loops of confusion and doubt. Rewiring is the discipline of direction. It's learning to guide your thoughts, not just feel them. You want to break free? Then start talking back to your own brain. Interrupt the thought that says you're a failure. Pause the loop that says you'll never change. Replace I can't with I am becoming. Speak it, breathe it, write it, repeat it. Not once, not twice, daily. You don't shift your life with a single affirmation, you shift it by repetition. Stuck people aren't lazy, they're misaligned. You're working, grinding, pushing, but against a belief system that doesn't support your growth. That's like driving a Ferrari with the parking brake on. You'll burn out before you break through. The rewiring begins when you let go of the identity that says, this is just who I am. You're not your trauma, you're not your childhood, you're not the mistake you made 5 years ago, you're not even the voice in your head, you're the one listening to it. And the moment you realize that, you get your power back. The power to observe, the power to interrupt, the power to reroute and rewire. Some of you are loyal to thoughts that are killing you. You defend them, you protect them. This is just how I think. But that mindset is keeping you broke, bitter, blind to what's possible. Stop defending dysfunction. Stop feeding thoughts that don't feed you. Your mind should be your ally, not your assassin. Rewiring your mind isn't glamorous, it's quiet, it's internal, it's uncomfortable. It's sitting with a thought and asking, is this even true? It's catching yourself mid-story and choosing a different one. It's practicing faith when your feelings don't agree. It's work, but it's the kind of work that transforms everything. You can read 100 books, watch 1,000 videos, but if you don't take charge of your inner narrative, you'll always fall back into the same patterns. Why? Because your subconscious isn't changed by information. It's changed by immersion, by soaking in truth until lies no longer feel like home. Here's the truth. Your mind was programmed for survival, not success. It's designed to keep you safe, not fulfilled. That's why it resists change. It would rather stay familiar and broken than step into the unknown and heal. But you weren't made to just survive. You were built to evolve. And that evolution starts with mental rebellion. You can't build a new life with an old operating system. You've got to uninstall shame, delete fear, reboot your faith, install discipline, update your self-worth, and run daily scans for negativity. That's how you rewire. That's how you take back control of the only thing you ever really had, your mind. If you want new results, you need new rituals. If you want peace, you need to practice it. If you want strength, you need to think like someone who already has it. Don't wait to feel different. Think different until it becomes your normal. That's the grind. That's the shift. That's the key. The most dangerous phrase you'll ever say is, "That's just the way I am." That's the way you were conditioned. That's the way you've been thinking. But that's not the way it has to be. You are not stuck. You're just running old programming. And all programming can be rewritten. Don't expect transformation without tension. Rewiring your thoughts will feel like war at first, because your brain has built highways around fear, shame, and self-doubt. And building new roads, new beliefs, requires effort. You've got to carve new paths, day by day, word by word, thought by thought. You want to win at life? Then master this. Not every thought is true, not every feeling is fact. Your emotions are real, but they're not always accurate. Rewiring means knowing the difference and choosing what serves you over what soothes you. Some of the strongest people you'll ever meet don't have louder minds. They have quieter ones. They've trained their brains not to spiral, not to overreact, not to feed chaos. They still feel fear, but they don't follow it. That's rewiring. That's strength. You can't rewire with wishful thinking. You need discipline. You need consistency. You need silence. You need time in the mirror, time in the journal, time in the fire. Because real mental transformation is born in the repetition no one sees, the commitment no one claps for. Think of your mind like a garden. Whatever you allow in will grow. Seeds of faith or fear, peace or panic, abundance or lack. The choice is yours. But don't complain about the harvest if you're not checking what you're planting. Rewiring starts with the soil. This is your reminder. Your brain is not broken. It's just wired for a version of life you've outgrown. So stop waiting, stop wishing, sit down, reflect, rewrite, and rewire. Because the only thing between the life you're living and the life you want is the mind you haven't upgraded yet. So here's the deal. Rewire or stay stuck. That's it. That's the truth. That's the line in the sand. And if you don't make that decision today, life will keep making it for you. Every morning you wake up thinking the same thoughts that keep you in the same place. Choose power. Choose change. Choose now. Victim thinking keeps you powerless. Victim thinking convinces you that life is happening to you, not through you. It makes you believe you're stuck because of someone else, some event, some betrayal. But here's the truth. As long as you believe the problem is outside of you, you'll never access the power that's inside of you. Power doesn't come to victims. It flows through those who own their response. When your mindset is locked in blame, your hands are tied. You're waiting for apologies, for fairness, for justice. And while you wait, your life slips away. The world keeps turning, opportunities pass, and you're still stuck in the story of why me. But the real question is, what now? What are you going to do now? Playing the victim feels safe because it requires nothing from you. No change, no risk, no accountability. You get to sit in the comfort of your excuses while life drives past. But excuses don't pay the bills. They don't build legacy. They don't fix your mindset. They just make your weakness look reasonable. There's always a reason to stay small, always someone to blame, always something that went wrong. But real growth begins when you stop narrating your pain and start rewriting your future. No more pointing fingers. No more waiting for perfect conditions. If you want to rise, then rise. Don't explain your chains, break them. Every time you say, "I can't because of them," you give away your strength. You hand your future to someone else's choices. But what if the very thing you're blaming is the thing meant to build you? What if that pain was the pressure needed to wake you up? Victim thinking blinds you to the lesson that people will wrong you, life will hurt you, but that doesn't mean you stay there. Staying in pain is a choice once the wound becomes a habit. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means refusing to be defined by what broke you. It means reclaiming your story and rewriting the ending. If you always need to be rescued, you'll never become your own hero. And that's the trap of the victim mindset. It makes you wait for someone to save you from a life only you can change. No one's coming, no miracle, no perfect moment. You have to save yourself. You have to fight back with a new mind. Victim thinking keeps you rehearsing pain instead of reaching for progress. You keep telling yourself the same story. They hurt me, they left me, they didn't choose me. But the question is, why are you still choosing them in your thoughts? Why are you keeping their actions alive inside you? Your power begins when you stop needing closure and start creating clarity. When you decide that moving forward is more important than staying bitter. Victim thinking whispers, you deserve to be angry. Power thinking replies, I deserve to be free. And freedom always costs the story you keep telling. The longer you blame, the longer you stay blind, because blame keeps you from seeing the part of you that needs to grow. It hides you from truth. It protects your pain. But what if pain isn't your prison? It's your mirror. What if what you're avoiding is the very thing that will set you free? Victim thinking teaches you to scan the room for who's at fault, but power thinking teaches you to scan your mind for what needs to change. You can't control who left, what happened, or what they said, but you can control your next step, your next thought, your next decision. You'll never take new ground with old thinking. And the oldest, most dangerous mindset is poor me. It feels justified. It feels familiar, but it doesn't move you forward. If it doesn't move you, it doesn't serve you. And if it doesn't serve you, you need to let it go. You're not weak because you were wounded. You're not broken because you've struggled. But you do stay stuck when you nurse that wound like a badge of identity. The moment you stop introducing yourself by your past is the moment you start stepping into your power. Some of the strongest people on this earth had every right to stay angry, but they chose freedom. They chose forgiveness. Not because it was easy, but because they knew bitterness is heavy and they had places to go. You don't have to carry what's crushing you. Victim thinking makes you reactive. It keeps you jumping at shadows, waiting for disappointment, living on defense. But when you shift your mindset, you become intentional. You create, you lead. You no longer wait for the storm to pass. You learn how to walk through it with power. You'll never live a powerful life with a powerless narrative. If your inner dialogue is, they ruined me, then you're building on sand. The foundation has to be stronger than the storm. Start telling a new story, one where you're not the broken one, but the builder, the breaker of chains. Do not confuse validation with transformation. People might agree with your pain, but only you can rise from it. You don't need more sympathy. You need more strategy. Stop seeking approval for your suffering. Start designing your comeback. That's how warriors are made. Your mind will believe whatever you feed it. If you feed it blame, it will live in defeat. But if you feed it responsibility, it will rise in purpose. Start catching your thoughts. Start rewiring your language. Instead of, they ruined my life, say, this is where I rise. You were never meant to be a victim of life. You were built to be a student of it. Every setback is a lesson. Every betrayal is a redirect. Every wound is wisdom in the making, but only if you choose to see it that way. The meaning you assign to your pain defines what it does to you, or for you. So today, make the decision. Break the story. Burn the script. Refuse to be the person who lives in the past while the future goes untouched. Take back the pen. Write a new chapter. You're not what they did. You're what you do next. And if you choose power over pity, everything can change, starting now. Faith over fear, always. Fear shows up loud. It screams worst-case scenarios, plays horror films in your mind, and tries to convince you that your future is a threat. But faith whispers. It tells you that even when you can't see the way is still being made. You either feed the noise of fear or lean into the stillness of faith. You were never promised a life without fear, but you were built to face it and move forward anyway. Fear waits for permission. Faith moves on purpose. Fear says, what if you fail? Faith says, even if I fall, I'll rise again. That's the power of mindset. That's the difference between stuck and unstoppable. Fear will have you clinging to comfort. Faith will have you walking into the fire knowing you're not alone. It doesn't mean you won't feel the heat, but it does mean you won't be consumed. God doesn't remove the storm. He builds your strength inside it. Choose faith every single time. Fear is addictive. The more you feed it, the more control it takes. But faith grows in silence, in stillness, in the space where you decide to trust what you can't see more than what you can. Real power begins when you stop rehearsing your doubts and start declaring your destiny. People think faith is soft. It's not. Faith is fierce. It's what lets you keep walking when the ground shakes. It's what helps you speak life in the middle of loss. Fear wants to paralyze you, but faith dares you to move with fire in your chest and purpose in your soul. You ever realize how fear always shows up dressed like logic? It sounds smart, it sounds careful, but underneath it's just control. Fear hates surrender, but faith is surrender. It says, I don't have to control everything to believe something good is coming. Faith and fear can't lead at the same time. One has to go. They both knock on your door, but only one builds the house. Let fear keep knocking, but let faith answer every time, because fear may visit, but it doesn't get to live here. Not anymore. Faith doesn't require proof. That's what makes it powerful. Fear will always demand evidence before you move. Faith says move, then the evidence shows up. Don't wait for all the lights to turn green. Walk in the dark with trust in your step. That's where miracles begin. You can't carry faith and fear in the same hand. You've got to choose what you're going to hold. Will it be your past pain or your future promise? One weighs you down, the other lifts you up. Drop fear like dead weight. Grab faith like it's your last breath. Faith is the voice that says, I don't know how, but I know who. It's not about having every answer, it's about knowing that you don't walk alone. Fear will always tell you you're not ready, but faith says, if God brought me to it, He'll bring me through it. Fear wants your energy. It feeds on your attention. That's why it multiplies when you dwell on it. But faith grows when you speak it, declare it, live it, even if your knees are shaking, even if the mountain looks too big. Faith doesn't need comfort. It needs commitment. The people who changed the world didn't wait for fear to leave. They moved anyway. They stood tall in uncertainty. They trusted something deeper than sight. Fear will never give you permission to chase your purpose, so don't ask it. Move with faith. Move with fire. Faith isn't loud. It's not always seen. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when the weight is heavy. Sometimes it looks like saying, I'll try again after the door slams shut. It doesn't have to roar. Sometimes it just endures, and that's enough. Fear tells you to hide. Faith tells you to show up. Even when you're scared, even when you're tired, even when you failed before, the courage to show up with faith again and again is what builds a life that fear can't shake. You can't pray for peace and walk in panic. You've got to choose. Will you repeat the story fear gave you, or will you write a new one with faith? Your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of belief. Not comfort, not safety, belief. Faith is not magic, it's muscle. It grows when you use it. Every time you step through fear, you flex it. Every time you trust the unseen, you build it. Don't wait to feel strong. Move, and the strength will meet you on the path. Fear will always exaggerate the worst. Faith reminds you of your best. Fear will shrink your dreams to match your doubts. Faith will stretch your steps to match your destiny. You don't need to shrink. You need to trust and step. The storms don't stop just because you believe, but the way you face them changes everything. Fear tells you the storm will destroy you. Faith tells you the storm will reveal you, your strength, your peace, your God. Choose your belief. When fear says you're not enough, faith replies, God is. When fear says you're alone, faith says, I've never left you. When fear says, what if? Faith answers, even then, I'll be okay. This is how warriors think. This is how faith walks. You don't need perfect faith, just enough to keep walking, just enough to say, today I won't let fear drive. Faith isn't about pretending fear doesn't exist. It's about deciding fear doesn't get to lead. Faith over fear, always. Control your focus, control your future. What you focus on grows. That's not a cliche, that's a law. Your mind is a spotlight, and whatever you shine it on becomes bigger, louder, more powerful in your life. Focus on fear, you feed fear. Focus on faith, and you feed strength. Your attention is currency. Stop spending it on what drains you. Distraction is the enemy dressed in convenience. The world is constantly pulling at you, screaming for your focus. Scroll this, click that, worry here. And while you're busy giving attention to everything that doesn't matter, your future slips through your fingers. Focus is how you fight back. Your future doesn't depend on your circumstances, it depends on your focus. You can be surrounded by chaos, but if your eyes are locked on purpose, you still move forward. That's the power of laser focus. It ignores the noise and walks toward the goal anyway. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your destiny. You might not feel the loss right away, but it adds up. Missed growth, missed opportunity, missed alignment. You've got to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't need more motivation, you need more clarity. Most people aren't stuck because they lack energy. They're stuck because they're scattered. Focus takes your energy and turns it into momentum. Without it, all you've got is motion with no direction. Ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind today? Is it hope or hopelessness? Is it vision or noise? What you focus on forms your beliefs, and your beliefs build your reality. If you want to change your life, start with what you're looking at. Focus creates your world. You can't control everything around you, but you can control what you lock your eyes on, and what you lock in on becomes your path. Keep looking at problems, you stay in problems. Start focusing on solutions, and you find a way through. Your life is like a garden, and focus is water. Are you watering weeds, or are you watering seeds? Are you giving time to what's killing your peace, or what's building your future? You get to decide what grows. Choose wisely. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's not about being busy. It's about being intentional. You can be exhausted every day and still be far from your goal because you never sat down and asked, what am I really aiming at? When you lose focus, you lose direction. Your time gets wasted. Your peace gets shaken. Your spirit gets distracted. But the moment you say no more, the moment you reclaim your focus, everything real starts to return. Your strength, your vision, your fire. The world wants you overwhelmed, distracted, chasing everything but yourself. But peace lives in focus. Fulfillment lives in focus. Power lives in focus. You don't need to chase 10 things. Chase one with all your heart. That's how you rise. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from thinking more. It comes from removing noise. Delete the distractions. Unfollow the chaos. Say no to what doesn't serve you. Focus is created in subtraction, not addition. Clear the clutter. Find your power. Every great achievement began with one decision: focus. Not multitasking, not pleasing everyone, just focus. That's how legacies are built. One day, 1 hour, one choice at a time, repeated with consistency. That's how ordinary becomes unstoppable. Focus requires discipline. It won't always feel good, it won't always be exciting, but it will always be worth it. The days you focus when you're tired, the days you keep going when you're tempted, that's where your future is built. In the quiet consistency, you can't focus if you don't know what you want. Get honest. What are you chasing? Is it yours or someone else's dream? Focus is alignment. It's locking your attention on what matches your purpose, not your pressure. Stop chasing what drains you. Focus protects your peace. It shuts out the opinions, the drama, the noise. When your eyes are on your path, you don't get distracted by other people's pace. You walk your truth. You honor your timing. And that's where fulfillment lives. Focus changes how you feel. When you're locked in on your mission, negativity can't take root. When you know where you're going, setbacks don't shake you, they sharpen you. Because your attention is rooted in something deeper than the moment. It's rooted in your vision. You can't build a future while staring at the past. What's done is done. What matters is what you choose to focus on now. Let go of what broke you. Look at what's ahead. The windshield is bigger than the rear view for a reason. Eyes forward. Discipline without focus is burnout. Passion without focus is chaos. Energy without focus is wasted. You have the drive, the spirit, the fire. Now aim it, channel it, focus it. That's when potential becomes reality. That's when purpose takes flight. Let me say it plain. Your focus is your future. You can't fix your life without fixing your focus. So guard it, guide it, give it a direction. And when you do, you'll see everything start to align. Not all at once, but step by step with power and peace. Your mind creates your life. Your mind is the architect of your reality. Before you build anything on the outside, it's already been shaped on the inside. Every belief, every thought, every internal voice. Those are your blueprints. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and limitation, that's what you'll recreate over and over. But if your mind is full of clarity, purpose, and faith, then your life begins to rise. You don't live according to your potential. You live according to your programming. And most people don't even realize they're running on old scripts, handed down by broken people, painful pasts, or false limitations. Until you stop and rewrite those scripts, they keep directing your life behind the scenes. Change the story, and you change the outcome. The most dangerous prison is the one built in your head. It's invisible. You carry it everywhere. And the bars, they're made of thoughts like, I'm not enough, I can't do this, it's too late. That prison doesn't need walls. It lives in your beliefs. But the moment you start thinking differently, you begin to break free. Your life is a reflection of your dominant thoughts. You can't think weak and live strong. You can't feed your mind junk and expect excellence. If the input is negative, the output will follow. If your inner world is full of clutter, don't be surprised when your outer world feels chaotic. Clean the mind, then watch the world shift. Nothing changes out there until something changes in here. People try to move cities, change jobs, leave relationships hoping for peace. But if the same thinking follows you, the same problems return. Because your reality doesn't follow your location, it follows your mindset. You've got to change the lens to see life differently. The mind is like soil. Whatever seed you plant, it will grow. You plant worry, you'll grow stress. You plant gratitude, you'll grow peace. The mind doesn't discriminate. It just produces what you nurture. So stop feeding the weeds. Start watering your growth. Every breakthrough begins with a thought. Every comeback, every success story, every transformation started in the mind before it showed up in the world. That means you don't need better luck. You need better thinking. Shift your mind and your life will follow. Your thoughts create emotions. Your emotions drive decisions. Your decisions build habits, and your habits shape your destiny. It all starts at the top, with the way you think. If you want to change your path, change your patterns. And that means changing the way you think. Some people have all the tools, all the talent, but they still stay stuck. Why? Because their mind talks them out of moving. They doubt before they begin, they fear before they try, and that fear becomes a full-time job, one that pays nothing but regret. Replace it with faith, and everything changes. The quality of your life rises or falls with the quality of your thoughts. You think small, you live small. You think survival, you get survival. But when you think legacy, growth, purpose, that's when life begins to expand. Not because the world changed, but because you did. What you say to yourself becomes the environment you live in. If you wake up every day saying, I'm tired, I'm behind, I'm not enough, then that's the world you start building. But if you speak life, you start living life. Words are seeds. Plant what you want to grow. Your mind is always listening, always watching, always recording. Every time you doubt yourself, you're teaching your brain that fear wins. But every time you act in faith, even if you're shaking, you teach it that power lives inside you. Feed it courage, and courage starts to show up. You've got to train your mind like an athlete trains their body. You don't become mentally strong by accident. You become strong by repetition, by challenge, by choosing growth over comfort. The more you push your thoughts toward truth, the more your life reflects power. What you tolerate in your thinking, you invite into your life. If you tolerate excuses, you get stagnation. If you tolerate blame, you get victimhood. But when you hold your mind to a higher standard, when you demand truth, faith, and discipline, life starts answering with opportunity. You were born to lead your mind, not be led by it. But most people let their thoughts run wild like a storm. No discipline, no boundaries. And then they wonder why their peace disappears. Get still, get focused, get in charge. The storm outside doesn't matter if the mind is anchored. Mindset is not just a concept. It's a weapon, a shield, a compass. In the darkest seasons, when you've got nothing else, your mindset becomes your survival. It either drags you under or lifts you up. Train it to believe in light, especially when life feels dark. You can't build a powerful life with a passive mind. That's like trying to win a race without ever taking the wheel. You've got to drive your thoughts where you want them to go. Be intentional, be focused, be relentless. Own your mental space like it's your most valuable real estate, because it is. The battles you fight in life are often just reflections of the battles inside your mind. Win inside and you win outside. But it doesn't happen by chance. It happens when you sit down with your fears and say, you're not running the show anymore. That's where the shift begins. You don't need the world to believe in you. You need your mind to stop doubting you. If your thoughts are your enemy, then nothing else matters. But when your thoughts become your ally, when they start to fight for you instead of against you, you become unstoppable. Your life isn't waiting on luck. It's waiting on a new mindset. One that says, I'm not a victim, I'm not broken, I'm not too late. One that says, I've still got time, I've still got strength, I've still got purpose. That mindset, it's already inside you. Now go live it, because your mind creates your life. Let me leave you with this. Your life will not change until your mind does. You can move cities, change jobs, chase new goals, but if your thinking stays the same, the results will follow you like a shadow. Fix your mind and your world begins to transform. Fix your focus and the path starts to clear. It won't be easy, it won't be fast, but it will be worth it. So stop waiting for the world to fix you. You're not broken, you're becoming. No more blaming, no more delays. From this moment forward, decide who you want to be. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now speak it, think it, live it, and don't apologize for growing. Don't make excuses for rising. Just show up every day, quiet, focused, relentless, because the world doesn't need another excuse. It needs your example.